Hello everyone and welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video and to a brand new series called Counter Spotlight, which is what I've decided to call this series for now. So if we do come up with a better name, I'll probably change it to that. But I just wanted to say a massive thank you for 500 subscribers. I do really appreciate every single one of you who has subbed, liked and commented. It does really help me out a lot with my channel, and I'm hoping to hopefully hit the 1000 subscriber mark by the end of the year. So if you haven't already subbed, make sure to hit that sub button so we can hit that goal. But anyway, back to the point of the video. In this series, I will be putting certain counters into the spotlight to showcase the detail of the setup and the strategy behind each counter, so that hopefully you can use the same or a similar method to my own to be successful using it in your own accounts in whatever game mode we showcase the counter for. So in this first episode, as you can probably tell, we'll be showcasing the Dash versus JML counter in Grand Arena, which I found out thanks to Arnold. So I'll leave a link down below to his video where he uses the same counter to beat a similar JML squad as I did in my own Grand Arena, but obviously with a slightly different lineup. I believe he used Young Han, where I used Nest. So in regards to the actual counter, the first thing you will need as an absolute must is Dash's Omicron and Vandor Chewie with his Zeta. They are absolutely necessary for this counter to work. If you don't have either of them, this just won't work at all. So my Dash is Relic 5, but if you have Profundity, you'll have him at Relic 7, and my Vandor is Relic 3. And in regards to the actual team lineup, I would highly recommend taking both IG-11 and Kuiil, as they're both a very good scoundrel pair like Han and Chewie are, so they can be very handy for getting this counter to work well with all the heals and tenacity down on AoE and cleanse, turn meter boost I believe Kuiil does, and obviously shocks and burning is all going to help out a lot. And Kuiil is kind of like a scoundrel R2 in that he shares his stats, so that'd be very helpful to give the team a bit more survivability just in case Vandor does take a few hits. And for the purpose of this video, my IG-11 is Relic 5 and my Kuiil is Relic 3. Then this is where you have multiple options, I would say. So it's very flexible depending on the choice you have available to use. So for example, in the fight I'm about to show, like I've already mentioned, I'm using Nest. She is very good for ignoring taunts with her Zeta and does a decent amount of damage with a good dispel on basic, and she is Relic 5 in this video. Bam is also a very good pick here for his damage immunity, and even Whistling Birds can do a decent amount of damage with the correct setup. But his main role here would be to make sure Vandor stays alive from any AoE damage, obviously from JML. So you'll be putting that damage immunity onto him to obviously prevent him taking any damage. And then, like I mentioned with the Arnold video, Young Han can work here very well. He does deal a lot of damage and can assist with his Zeta, and if he crits, it will generate more turn meter for the team. So obviously, with Dash's basic, if he crits 4 times, he can call everyone to assist. As long as they don't have days or the inability to assist, they should all assist. And obviously, if they all crit, that's a lot of turn meter, and Han will assist anyway because of his Zeta. Well, has a chance to, at least. It's a 70% chance. Then the last two are relatively unknown for this counter. I've not seen them being used, but I do not see why they both wouldn't work. So the first one is Kira. She is very good support for smugglers. Also, he has that prepared synergy that you would need, with lots of percentage-based bonuses from her unique, and an AoE dispel with stagger, which would be very good when comboed with Dash's AoE. And obviously another mass assist as well with her second special and her days on her basic. So obviously all her ability is going to be very helpful here. L337 is the other one. She's obviously a very good tank with constant prepared, so she'll always be taunting to take all the damage away from Vandor and the rest of the team. And not only does she have a nice heal, she's a great passive cleanse for the team. As we all know, a JML team usually likes to throw out a lot of debuffs, especially JML with that Flux AoE with the ability to block and the breach. So I do believe that these 5th spots will work very well at between Relic 3 to Relic 5, so there's no real need for a huge investment to be thrown at them in order to get this counter to work. But anyway, in regards to the mods for the team that I'll be showing you in this fight, You don't need anything too crazy, as mine weren't either. So for the purpose of these stats I'm about to go through, they are just the stats of the characters with the bonuses that they get from either the unique on dash or the lead on dash. There are no, I haven't taken into account any of the other characters' uniques. Obviously, Vandor gains a lot of health from his unique, and Kuiil and IG-11 share a lot of stats, and Kuiil obviously shares more health stats based on his stats. So there's a lot of maths, and I don't really want to go through the maths of all of it because that would just take me ages and I'll probably get it all wrong anyway. So as a base, my dash was 76.8k health, 49k protection, 352 speed with 5 6-stop mods, which were a speed and health set. IG-11 had 159k health, 54k protection, 296 speed with also 5 6-stop mods, but they were 3 health sets instead. Obviously, with IG-11 you want to be modding him for as much health as possible. He is a healer, and his health stats are very high base level, so you'll be getting the most out of him by modding him for pure health. Arrow as well. Kuiil had 71.5k health, 56k protection, 333 speed with 3 6-stop mods, which were a speed and health set. Vandor had 92k health, 52k protection, but that's obviously not taking into account his unique, which gets rid of his some of that protection and turns it into health. And then 241 speed with 1 6-stop mod, which also were 3 health sets like IG-11. So they both have similar modding setups. You want to mod them for as much health as possible because they both have a very high base health stat, and obviously lots of Vandor's abilities are all based on max health anyway, like his damage on his special, which you can spam a lot in this. So obviously getting his health as high as possible is going to be really beneficial for you in this setup. Then my Nest had 89.8k health, 42k protection and 288 speed, modded with 5 6-stop mods, which were 2 tenacity sets and a health set. And as for the opposing team that I will be showcasing you in this video today, this is what it is, and it can't really get better than this in my opinion, to show you how the counter works. And what's even better in this, well, there's not really better, but the battle I'm about to show you, I'm actually starting with the opposing team having turn meter, so it's even doable with them like that, with a full squad. As you'll see that my attempt with C beforehand didn't go very well as I had hoped. For the Datacron, you'll see this is what their team was running. I would be very careful with some of the bonuses given out in some of these Datacrons, especially the 100% damage, full health and protection, as you can see here. As a good AoE from a Relic 9 JML could probably wipe out my Vandor Relic 3 with pretty minimal mods on them. So you don't really want to risk JML wiping you out with one massive AoE. So fortunately for me, obviously we did take C in beforehand, so the JML and the JKL in this fight aren't starting with full health and protection, so they won't be getting that bonus. So that's very helpful and something to keep in mind when you try this counter out, if you ever wanted to try it out. But anyway, that is enough waffling, so we'll jump straight into the battle, starting off with the end of the C fight and then going into the actual battle itself. If we can get our ultimate off, I'll be very happy, but I don't know if we will, but we'll try. Yeah, no chance. So this was the live setup that I had for the team going into the Grand Arena fight. So you can see all my relics and Zetas here, and you will see the Datacron I'm using. I did just want to add previously what I was telling you about the Datacrons. You do need to be really careful with what Datacrons you pick to use this team against, because Datacrons like JKL's level 9 where he gets bonus turns is a no-go, because you'll just get constantly stunned, because obviously he takes his specials back to back, so that comes off cooldown really quick, and even though you'll just die constantly, you just won't be able to do any damage that you'll need. So this is Datacron I'm also using for the fight, chance to dispel debuffs on myself, so that's really going to be helping a lot, obviously, because they do have a lot of stuns and breach and everything, and a bit of extra crit damage and resistance pen. Obviously, damage is there to help kill the Jedi faster. So I believe we're about to jump into the fight, which we are. And as I mentioned, they are going to start with loads of turn meter because they've got a 25% turn meter. So they're just going to take a bunch of turns, and as you see, they're just going to kill everyone but Vandor, basically. And they're going to build up to their ultimate super quick. Before we even get a turn, look, they've got their ultimate. But now once you go, obviously you open up with the AoE to feed a bunch of turn meter to your team. Obviously you're hoping for crits, because you gain turn meter every time you crit. Good thing about Nest here is that I can go around JML's taunt to hit JKR to kill him off before he obviously procs any savior ability. So that's what I'm trying to do here, just basicking with dash when I can. And the only problem with R9 JML is that he does have a lot of crit avoidance, so actually landing those crits on that basic with dash is going to prove quite difficult, especially for the higher relic JMLs. But if you're facing a relic 7, you should be okay. Also just checking debuffs here, seeing what they've all got. Now they've procced their ult. Now we're just going to go around and try and kill JKR. We do get quite fortunate with some counters from RG11 that actually kills off JKR, but that's not a problem. It just obviously speeded up the battle a little bit. So it's pretty tough to watch when they actually take all the turns, watching you die constantly. But bring out another AoE again just to use our turn meter. Now going after JKR to kill him, because we do need to get rid of him first, preferably. It's got a nice hit onto JKR there through nice assist there, and then I believe JKR dies here. Yep. As you can see, it's a very cheesy strat. I wouldn't be surprised if CG do actually change the AI of JML because of this, because even though it is part of an Omicron, it is quite cheesy. Also, you're going to try and kill Jolie quickly before he revives JK, and you saw a big hit there from Vandor, which was very helpful. Now we just got the 2 Lukes and Hermit to deal with. And you'll see that we actually get really good balance. It did freeze here, unfortunately, on blue stacks, so Ash does actually do his AoE there, but you didn't see it. So even though this was a second attempt, because I did want to get rid of that 100% bonus of the AoEs, we would have actually got 64 banners against this if it was the first attempt. Obviously you just have to be careful, like I mentioned, with Datacrons, what you're using and where. And make sure you're adapting your lineup to what JML you need to face. And now it's just a case of cleaning up both the Lukes and trying to recover some health and protection where we could. See, that's through Kuiil and Vandor Chewbacca. So here I was kind of panicking. I accidentally pressed the basic rather than doing the special. So that was my fault for taking that hit there, because that would have killed JML there. And we've got a nice heal. Probably should have procced the heal there with RG11, but it's fine. And that is the win. So if you have enjoyed this first episode of my brand new series, I would really appreciate a like, comment and subscribe, and I shall catch you in the next one.